chat, to have a discussion with people and then stand up and deliver a presentation. That's pretty much how I deliver my trainings. It's that basic, that you have a look at the book, you activate the book, I throw some things on a mind map. Now in training world, what would happen is I would take these pictures and these words, I put them on a PowerPoint slide. And then rather than standing at the flip chart, I would stand here with my clicker and I would deliver a PowerPoint presentation. It's no more complicated than that. And you can actually do it in a couple of minutes because every single one of you stood up and delivered a very coherent and eloquent presentation on a subject that you didn't really know that much about yesterday. And this is no different to your boss coming to you, or your team leader, your MLM distributor, whatever you want to call it, and saying, can you have a quick look through this documentation, can you deliver a presentation this afternoon? And most people would spend all morning moaning that it's just been sprung on them, they haven't got time, they need more time to prepare, they can't possibly stand up and do a presentation, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, look, in the time it takes you to put that much energy into moaning, shut up and get on with it. Because in a really short space of time, and in your case, in less than half an hour, you all stood up and delivered a presentation to a room full of people. And this is the thing that Sylvia did, which made her go, of course I can stand up and present. Because people often say the thing with public speaking, I always say, look, it's not, for me, personally, my experience is, it's not a Lady Gaga thing, you don't have to have been born this way. Because I started, seriously, people think, oh my God, you're so lucky. People just come and say that to me when I do shows and exhibitions and all that. And I would say to people, that's not the case at all. Up until the age of 32, I was painfully quiet, shy, lacking in confidence, really low self-esteem. I could not even talk to my own family. I used to talk to people like that. And I'd be the person who, if I had to speak even just in a team meeting, my throat would swell up, my tongue would get big, I would be shaking and I couldn't get the words out. When I had to do presentations at university, I would be the one standing there with the notes. You couldn't even hear me talk because the notes were rustling that much. And I was like that right up until the age of 32. And then I stumbled into personal development and learned how to deal with the fear and anxiety and all the rest of it, which is very straightforward and simple to do. And now the problem is shutting me up. It's not about getting me to talk. It's now about, okay, Marilyn, enough already. So I absolutely know it's possible to learn these skills, and not just to get through it, because my thing was I just want to get it over with, to actually love it, such that when somebody says, can you speak, can you present, can you do this, you're excited, as opposed to fearful about it. And all of that is learned. I've got a very loud older sister, and I think that was part of the problem, because she's so loud and so out there and so boisterous and so confident. I was like a little shrinking violet next to her, so I made the decision, albeit unconsciously, that I would stay in the background because I don't want to compete with that. And so many things, I mean, I didn't know that at the time, it wasn't in my conscious awareness, but with hindsight, when I start looking at where does this fear and anxiety come from, part of it was that. But then I just learned, okay, you can structure your thoughts, and you can feel more confident, and this is basically what you've just done with this particular exercise. Would you say that as an audience member, did the people that you just watched, did they do a great job?
Yeah.
Everybody did a fantastic job. And if people are nodding, somebody's nodding about you, because you were one of the people up here. It's that easy. And I'd say to people, look, the unfortunate thing about photo reading is you have no more excuses. Really, you don't. Because you just need to cast your mind back to this moment, or even to the moments where you played around with an article or had a couple of minutes with a book, and then I say stand up, take your mind back, find a partner, talk, and you're all able to do that. And this is artificial. I'm giving you ridiculously small amounts of time. In real life, you probably have an hour or two, or even 2 or 3 days to do this, and then imagine what you could come up with. And you can deliver a whole presentation based on a few little Hannibal lecters, and some pictures of somebody doing weight training, and a few icons and a few words. You do not need copious notes. And when I'm teaching people about presentation skills and public speaking, they're not very happy when I say, look, my preference is I want to get you to the point where you can present without notes, because you're much more fluid and you have much more engagement with the audience, and all of you did that naturally, and every once in a while you just referred to, and everybody did it. I was watching, everybody went, oh yeah, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then there was da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But if I said to people, if I could set it up differently, I could have said to you all, right, I'm going to give you X amount of time to look at this brand new topic that you don't know anything about, and then I want you to stand up and I want you to deliver a presentation without the use of notes. If I'd framed it in that way, you would have had a mini heart attack if you don't like public speaking. But I don't frame it up that way. I just say, oh, just get together in a group, have a little chat, and then put some stuff on a mind map. Oh, and can then you just decide who's going to say what? Oh, and actually just come up the front and just tell us what's on your mind map. But it's the same process. So is everybody clear that you can take a topic that you don't know very much about, and in less than half an hour, write notes, and then stand up and do a presentation? Yeah. Embed that into your mind and memory, and next time the opportunity presents itself and you're short of time, remind yourself of this moment. Because it's that simple. It really is that easy. And then and everybody, everybody then said, well, I'm not sure if mine's going to be as funny as that. And then we're all still laughing. So it then comes to how much of yourself do you want to put into it. And that's the money spot. But it's that easy. Hang on.
That was easy.
Because it is. There's nothing to it.
Can you do the same on your own? Because we were obviously working.
Of course you can. You can do exactly the same on your own, and the way I get around being on my own is I talk to myself, and I have dialogue. I'll be there in a sec. And just so you can put your hand down and relax. I have dialogue, and I'm like, okay, so what about this and what about that? Now, what do they say about this? What do they say about that? Okay, so and then I answer myself.
Okay. Do you talk out loud?
Sometimes, yeah. My neighbour, Megan, must think, who has she got in there now? Because there are times I am laughing hard. And she must think, who's she got around at this hour? But somebody's just made me laugh, or I've read something online or whatever it is. But yeah, sometimes I'm in an office environment and I go, no, what was that again? And the person next to me goes, what? And I went, so I'm talking to myself. Because, yeah, but it works. Or the other alternative, if let's say you're doing something for your boss, you could go, okay, what will my boss say or do in this situation? And I kid you not, it's a bit like Edward de Bono's hats, where you change hats and change perspective, what you might call perceptual positions in NLP speak. You get different answers when you ask on behalf of the energy of another person. Seriously, it's really cool stuff.
I had to do a speech the other day talking about what's happening in the Middle East currently, based on my experiences while I've been out there. And it had to be 45 minutes to an hour. And so what I did was, I thought, okay, bugger, I need to come up with something. So I got over my usual faff around, like in my head I can't do this sort of stuff. And then I just spoke and I recorded myself. And I just went on and I just forced myself, whenever I got to a block, I just said, right, let's carry on, make up something else now, right, carried on. Recorded it all, made sure it was 45 minutes, and then I went through it all again. I thought, okay, so that's my starter, that's my main, that's what I'm doing to end up. These are the images that I'm going to put in between, and then I played it back to myself, and then I just practiced again. The next day, did it again, and then the third day, I did it again, and I was like, okay, I think what will be now. There's no point trying to overdo it. And then I just went in and delivered the whole. It lasted the whole hour. So, and the feedback that I got was feedback from the person who organises the whole thing. Just said, we haven't had 200 students sit like that and actually listen and ask questions ever before.
Wow.
So normally it's 30 minutes, and then they're too bored.
That is fantastic.
So it's definitely doable.
Absolutely.
And just stand up in front of the mirror, and just talk to yourself.
And if any of you've got cats are apparently brilliant. When they're bored, they'll show you their arse, or they'll just get up and walk off. I kid you not. I've had loads of clients who've got cats, and when the presentation isn't going well, the cat is gone. When the presentation is good, the cat is there and it's animated.
They've done some experiments on whether cats can talk to each other.
Oh, right.
And apparently, cats don't understand each other at all. The only people that can understand are their owners, because they can understand what their language is and the frequency of how they speak, and they can pick up their tonality on how they're feeling, their emotion and everything, but it's specific to that person. So whoever is the owner of that cat, the cat reacts in reaction with that owner. So that's probably why it does that.
Oh, how see, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
My cat thinks I still get off the couch. That's funny.
But seriously, and it just having another breathing being is a bit like having an audience. It's really weird, but I say to people, do that. It really is, but it's that straightforward, it's that simple, and it really is doable. And I cannot tell you the number of times, a bit like yourself, somebody says, well, can you just do 20 minutes or can you just do half an hour? I remember doing radio interviews where they said, well, can you just do a 10-minute segment? Yeah, no problem. An hour and a half later, they still got me there. Well, Marilyn, we just want to ask you this, and can we just, and would you, have you got a few more minutes? Can you just stay with a little bit longer? You know, yeah, sure, no problem. Every time. And it's not me overrunning, because I say my bit and then I shut up. Because when you do a radio interview, particularly if you're not live in the studio, sometimes you listen to them, they're a bit painful because they talk over each other or there's these horrible silences. So I say to the person interviewing, when I'm finished what I'm saying, I'm going to stop and I'm going to pause, and that's your cue to come back in. If you've not come back in about 5 seconds, because 5 seconds in airtime is a long time, then I will maybe say something else. So I always give them the opportunity to end the interview by just being quiet, and they don't. They always, when we come off air, they go, can you just stay for a couple of minutes, just going to play another track, or just going to run an advert, I just want to ask you about this, I just want to ask you about that. And it's that whole thing about having the energy and the intention of what you want to impart to someone. So are you ready for the koosh ball game? Let's do this thing. And do I need to explain the koosh ball game again, or are you clear on the game?
Pass.
Yes. Catch, pass, da da da. So we're going to head back outside. What you are going to do is you're going to get back into 2 groups, and you're not going to bother with the pass this time round because you know all of that. And you're not just going to do step 1, step 2, step 3. You're going to do step 1, say the name of the step, and whoever catches that, you're going to go straight into explaining that step. And then throw it to the second person at random, straight into this number, the name of the step, explain that step, and then once you've been round completely, then as a group you're saying, right, have we got any questions, any queries, is there anything we're still not clear about? Put that into your group, because they can, somebody in the group can most likely answer and give you a little bit of a distinction on it. And then when we come back in, we'll do a final Q&A to see if there's anything else that is not totally clear. So up you get.